Good morning. Today is an absolutely perfect day here in Gothenburg. It doesn't get any better than this, but enough about that. Let's get into it. So, today we are going to talk a little bit about challenges, or more specifically, comfort and challenging your own comfort in a small way. And for us to be able to do that, I'm going to give us a little bit of a context first and foremost. So, not that long ago, I was looking for a new job. And I had been working for the most part, basically all of my career as a front-end developer. Now, I did start out as a Java developer, but I very quickly went into Node.js and JavaScript and, kind of stayed there for quite a bit and, worked my way up, if you will. And so when when it became time to go on to the next thing, the next job, I started thinking about, okay, what is it that I want to do? What do I want to achieve? And I got this tip a while back, which I thought was very valuable, and it guided my decision making when it came to finding that new job. And the tip I got was basically that don't think about what you want to do now, think about what you want to do, the next job after this. What is the thing what is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want from this next job that you're getting, so that it will further your goals to the point where the job afterwards is more likely, or rather it's more likely that you will get it. And so I sat down, I really thought about it. I thought long and hard about what it is that my end goal was. And I kind of settled, and rather the insight that I got from this way of thinking was that long term, I want to be a holistically well-rounded programmer that can build more or less anything that is required of him. The type of polyglot, or whatever you want to call it, and a universal programmer, if you will. Somebody who doesn't have to be necessarily a master of every single thing, but I want to feel that I am capable of building almost any type of system or work in any team and provide value. So, now to give you basically what that meant was that I now had a roadmap. That meant that I had to look at the job that I was going to select now, or I was going to look for, and I realized something. I realized that my skill sets in JavaScript and front-end development was fairly high in comparison to server-side programming, strict server-side programming, back-end stuff, right? And I also realized that for the most part, the server side I have been doing has been in Java, or it has been in Node.js and PHP and a few selections here and there. And for the most part, it's been fairly standardized, simple stuff in general. If you think about, take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, because simple may not necessarily mean simple. It's just that from my definition of complex systems are the sort of systems that are either doing extremely complicated calculations, or there's a very complicated a big amount of complicated server-side computations, or you have stuff like banking and stuff of transactions and stuff like that, where the domain is extremely complicated. I haven't done much of that. So now that I was talking to all these different recruiters and companies, and having both a very stressful time and a very happy time, where I kind of got a feel for how high the demand for programmers are. And most of the people I spoke to had different requirements for front-end developers specifically. The demand was immense, just ludicrous. And because I had asked myself this question, what the long-term goal was, I was in the position where, had I, just wanted a job, I would have most likely went with one of the front-end jobs that I was offered, where it was strict, almost all React development, everything was JavaScript, all the stuff that I already know and, I'm fairly good at. But I didn't go with that job because it did not fit in with my long-term goal. And that was a little bit scary when I first started at my new company, where now I had a very good fortune, because I realized that, hey, I don't want to be a complete, remember what I was thinking about job afterwards is that I want to be a holistic programmer. I want to be the type of programmer that can do all of it, which means that I can't go full front end and I can't go full back end, even though like back end being my weaker point right now. So I had to go for full stack, which is exactly what I'm doing now. Full stack development with Scala on the server side, and React and Redux and all the fancy shiny toys from the front end development in on the front end. And what's even better is that it's basic. The entire system is a massive integration platform which works towards the banking system, which is an extremely complicated domain to work in. So you get the third bonus of having high complexity systems, which is always nice to work with. At least I think so, because the problems you have to solve are fairly, they're tasty complexity. And all of this came from asking myself that question. Now I'm going to admit that if I just wanted to feel secure in what I was going to do and like have a job that I felt sure about, then I would have stayed as a front-end developer. But I figured out, I realized that I don't want to be safe. I want to develop as a person, and I want my job to challenge me to be the best that I can be. And so I picked a job that scared me a little bit, because I'm still a little bit afraid, because I've never worked in Scala, and I still think Scala is like, the learning curve is a little bit higher than I would like to, but I'm making progress. I'm being able to be productive. I can close and solve stories, and I do have access to very senior colleagues who have been working with Scala for a long time. So it's not like I'm hanging out to dry and I don't have anywhere to go. And little by little, you're starting to adopt this. It almost feels like being back to square one again and learning something for the first time, even though it's not that extreme. So this is a tip that I would want to share with you, that if you want to progress and continuously develop, try to avoid that urge you will have at some point to go with the safe thing, to go with things you already know. Because if you just stick with doing what you know and what you're really good at, odds are that you will stagnate or plateau and not keep on developing and improving yourself. And this this is especially true for jobs, because the thing is, some people will tell you that, oh yeah, but I've been doing Java for 10 years and now I'll just get another job doing Java, and then if I find something interesting I'll learn it on the side. But that's not true. That's not going to be you're not going to evolve as much as you think. Trust me, my personal motto is that you master the skills you use every day and you develop the skills you're going to need tomorrow. And there's a two-way meaning in that. One part is that it's an idealistic way of looking at things, that you're continuously improving. But it also means that the stuff that you do for a living, that's the stuff that you're going to get really good at. So make sure that the job that you pick is a little bit scary, a little bit different, and teaches you something new.